Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Zanu. As we are getting ready to welcome students back to school, I wanted to reach out and share 3 ways in which we can support students after a holiday break. Number one, allow sufficient time and space for students to talk about their holiday experiences. As we know, we have students from diverse backgrounds, and that is linguistic and cultural backgrounds, socioeconomic statuses, family structures, and home environments. So there is no surprise that our students have an array of experiences over the holiday break. As educators and related service providers, it is our role then to ensure that our students are fully ready to get back into the mode of learning. And so, what we can do as educators is to offer space that is non judgmental, that is promoting openness and warmth for students to share their experiences. For many of our students, what we're going to find is that they had a great time, a pleasant experience over the break. And so, these are some of the students who maybe have gone to lots of attractions and have traveled to different cities, different countries, and have an array of exciting experiences. And for these students, they want to share, they want to talk about what they did, they want to show and tell, and that is exciting because that is a vicarious learning experience. And what we know of vicarious experiences is that it's an excellent way for students to learn some skills of imagining, empathizing, evaluating, and also learning from others. So that's good. Although we're going to have those students who had a wonderful time and their experience was quite pleasant, equally, we're going to have those students who may not have had a pleasant experience. And for these students, they might have lost a loved one, probably experienced some form of trauma or some form of hurt, pain, and despair. And so, for lots of these students too, in school, mental health support or social emotional support is the main or only source of social emotional support that they have. So we have to ensure that we create a space where these students can comfortably share how they're feeling, what they experience, and to kind of get some of that feeling out, to get that apathy, to get that emotive aspect out. As we also know, based on the statistics, is that Black and Latino students are the ones that may mainly be experienced by, that may mainly have experience of not having enough social emotional support outside of a school building. And so again, this opportunity will be an excellent way for them to share how they're feeling and, for them to feel welcome and to be ready to get back into that mode of learning. As we know that taking the time out to allow students to share their feelings and experiences through activities, it promotes a positive classroom relationship and improve work habits of students. And the entire class will be more meaningful for everyone. So as the students are coming back, here are some activities that can be done to help the students to engage and to help them to express how they spend their time. And so we don't want to overwhelm them already with content, but we want to give them time to hear about them, to learn about them, to hear their perspective, and to tie that all into whatever objectives that we're going to want to teach them as we move forward. So here are a few games or activities that can be done in the first week as we get back with our students. One, we can use a musical microphone game. And for the musical microphone game, what it entails is that students will sit in circle and they will be facing each other, and we'll pass an object around, or you, the teacher, or the related service provider, can pass an object around, and then you're playing music while that's going on. And so when the music stops, which you're gonna stop the music at different intervals, when the music stops, the student who has the object, and that object can be a microphone, a ball, a marker, or something. When the music stops, the student is then gonna share what happened or some experiences that they've had over the holiday break. Another one that can be done is guess who game. And so for this one, what can be done is to have the student write 10 things, or all students in the class will write 10 things that happened over the break. And this can be on a sticky pad, on a sheet of paper, whichever, but you're going to instruct the student not to write their names on that paper. And so when students have completed that list with 10 things that they did, or however amount they can come up with, you're going to have them fold it and put it into a container. You're then going to shake that container well, and then students will volunteer, or you can randomly select students to come up and pick one of those, and then they're going to read it, and from there they can guess who. So they will guess who based on the characteristics or whatever the happenings were over the break. They could probably remember some of the things their friends said that they were going to do or whatever, and so they will guess who. And when they guess, if the person can either confirm, yes, that's me, or the person can choose to deny, whichever it is. But it will be a fun activity to kind of get a theme of what students did over their break. Another one is the rating game. And for the rating game, you would pretty much have students rate their experiences over the break on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. And then what happened for this one is that you ask students, you give them the scale, and then they tell you a number based on where they feel their experiences fall. And then all the students will kind of make a rating, and based on those ratings, you can then group students according to their ratings. And so when students are grouped, they can have conversations around what made their experience worthwhile, or what were some other things that could be done to improve their experiences. And so then that conversation can be ongoing and guided by the teacher, or facilitated by the related service provider. So that's an excellent way to have students working in a group, listening to each other and learning from each other. Another one is the show and tell game. And for this one, what can be done is have students encourage them to show pictures of things that they did or places they went, or tell stories about their experiences over the break. Students love to share stories, and they like to show and tell. So many schools, many children are allowed to have their cell phones. At this point in time, you can have them show different pictures, have them show things that they were doing, or places they went, all of that stuff. And then to make it even far more fun, you can let them use applications through technology to create something. So create probably a meme, or to create a video, or something based on in their skill set, to create something so that they can demonstrate or show the class what they engaged in over the break. Students will be excited by this because of course it's technology, and we know our kids, they love technology. So that's something that they will definitely want to be participating in. Another one that we could do with kids when reintegrating them into the classroom is to do the you tell I tell, or writing prompts. So pretty much you group students, or put them with a pair, put them in pairs, and then with pairs they're going to be provided some form of probing questions. So you give them, say, maybe 5 probes or something, or 5 prompts, rather. 5 prompts. And with these prompts, what they can do is kind of have that dialogue back and forth conversation with each other. So they answer some of those prompts, and then the other member would then listen, and vice versa would respond. So some of those prompts can be, what did you do over the break? What's your favorite food that you had? Who you spent time with the most? I miss blank and I wish blank. And then have the student sit, there and kind of just have those kind of dialogues. And then you can walk around the room and check in with students, and just keep on the lookout to see those students who are in need of more support. Another thing that can be done is to have the back to school scavenger hunt. A back to school scavenger hunt. So kids love that, students love that, because what you're going to do is to kind of think about items that they would have used over their holiday period, or experiences that they might have had. So we know some students might have gone on vacation, or for some they went to the beach or something like that. So we're going to think of different objects that we can use in a scavenger hunt. So things like sunglasses, a ball, water bottle, stuff like that. And then what we're going to do is to hide these things around the classroom or around the school, and then have students in groups, group them, and then have them go scavenger hunt. And then the group that finds all the things first will be the group that wins. And you can decide if you want to do a gift, or you just want to praise them, or they would love it regardless if you don't want to use a reward at the end. But that's a very good way to kind of get them involved. And then you can have a discussion after, talk about these items and use the items to have students who have some experience with an item like this to share what happened or how they use that. And that will create a very good discussion there in the classroom. And then another one is draw it. And with a draw it, what you can do is have students draw an experience that they've had over the break, or some outing that they went to. Draw something from their holiday. And with drawing something from their holiday, you can have them then show the class what they draw, talk about it. And then at the end, what you can do is compile all of those artwork into a montage. Or you can create a book, a scrapbook or something, and keep it in the class where students can always access it. You can always at times refer students to it if they want to refresh their memory about what they did over that break. Or if you're teaching a concept that you can use something from that, you can always have that to refer the students to. And then something else that can be done is hosting a welcome back party. This, I find, is a good way to kind of let kids see that we're excited that they're back. We could not wait to have them back, to teach them, let them see how much we care for them. So have some form of snacks, hot or cold beverage, and then play some light music, soothing music or something, and have the kids just converse with each other. And then you can do guided conversations. You can just have an open floor and the kids just talk to who they want to talk to. And you're just there to facilitate, to hear, and to guide the process. And then even with this welcome back party, it can be linked with other activities that were mentioned earlier. And so you can choose to do 2, 3, 4 activities. Doesn't matter. Always when deciding on the activities, think about your classroom dynamics, think about the age group of your students, think about your students' learning style and learning needs, and then select the one that you think, or the ones that you think would work best for your class. And then once you have figured this out, what you're going to do to welcome back your students, you are going to realize that doing these activities will kind of provide you with some information that will be helpful to know if your students are ready or in the space or in they're mentally ready for learning. And so what you can do, you are going to be seeing those students that are just as you left them, or when you or last semester when you had them, you'll see, okay, Harry's kind of in the same mindset. But then unfortunately you may see those students who are displaying some unusual behaviors, or you may see some of the students that are appearing anxious or sad or withdrawn. And so these activities are meant to kind of give us that kind of information. And so when we see some of these things, we're going to check in with our students. We're going to probably do some form of tiered support with them. So follow up with them to hear how you may support them, suggest tools, and refer them as necessary to the social worker, to the guidance counselor, or to whatever support are available in your building so they can be helped. And then, of course, always remember you're a mandated reporter. So if there's a matter that needs your attention or needs to be escalated or reported, then definitely go ahead and file a report. And then number 2, so we just went through number 1, which is allow sufficient space and time for students to talk about their holiday experiences. The second one is to review classroom norms and expectations. Now, what we find is that lots of kids, when they go off, they have fun, as they should. And they tend to forget sometimes, and it's perfectly fine that they may forget some of the classroom norms. It may take maybe a week for them to kind of get back in the mood and the system of how things work. So to kind of guide that process and to help them with transitioning back to the classroom, we can help by revisiting some of our classroom norms and expectations. And then when we do this, we can also have discussions so students can share the relevance of some of these, and then provide an opportunity. And remember for these that it's a collaborative approach should be used. So it's a teamwork kind of thing. So not only the teacher that's creating or reviewing these, but the students are involved in the process as well. So they can always adjust some of these norms, they can add some more, whichever one is going to help the class to be a best or conducive for learning. We're going to promote an effective learning environment. And so involve them in the process to create some of these and then discuss relevance with them. So some of the norms that can be considered and you can build on are norms such as show respect for all. Students need to remember that they should listen when others are talking and use appropriate language, that they should keep hands to themselves, and that they should pick up after themselves, because we respect others when we keep our surrounding clean and our workstations clean. So we remind them to show respect, and then we also remind them to practice and participate in learning activities and ask questions. So participate in learning activities and ask questions. And so by doing this, we're encouraging them to engage in classroom activities and ask questions as they find appropriate. When they think they want to ask for clarity, do that. A lot of times we want to also remind them that many times other kids have the same question, but they were just not as bold to ask it. And so they're asking that question is helping the entire class to understand the concept. And so that's great that they asked that question. Another one is to encourage our students to take responsibility for their actions. It's important to remind them to take responsibility for their actions, as we should as educators. So be honest, be prepared on time, and always consider the consequences of actions. So that's very important, not blaming others, but considering the consequences of our actions. And then, importantly, recognizing that everyone in the classroom will have different knowledge base. Everyone is from different backgrounds, everyone learning styles may be different. So we're all learners are not going to be always at the same level. So we want to ensure that they are aware that different learners are at different places, and so they must be kind and supportive. So they're gonna stop, think, and make good choices. And then another one that we can consider, another category that we can consider, is to have students advocate for themselves and for others. So encourage them to speak up, share their opinions respectfully, as well as assertively, because we want them to be advocates, and we want them to know their rights as students too, and definitely be a change agent. So we want them to be able to have goals and work towards meeting those goals, and definitely speak up in class. So when we have these forms of classroom norms and expectations for students, we find that the learning environment is more positive. We find that it fosters a sense of care and support rather than a place of fear and doubt. So we want our students always to be in a learning environment where they are supported and they know that as a team, as a group, we're working towards the same goal. Norms and expectations are just perfect to do that. And reviewing them as we return to school is going to help us all to be on the same page, and that everyone is ready for learning. And then the third and last one that we can consider to help students get back into the system after a holiday is to reassure students and their families that school is a safe place, and sharing resources with the family. So remind them that school is safe and share resources that are available in the school to these families. Now, students must be confident that school is safe, is a safe space, and they must feel supported. When kids' families are supported, research, data finds that their attendance improves, their behavior improves. We find that their academic skills are improving. So we want to provide as much support as they need so that they can be well. And so, because we already know that our kids are from diverse backgrounds, different socioeconomic statuses, different family norms, linguistic backgrounds, and cultural backgrounds, the needs are vast. So having dialogue with home consistently is important. And so as we get back to school, meeting with parents on a one-on-one, or at the grade level, at the class level, or as a school, meeting with all parents to kind of hear, the voice and the concerns, the needs of parents. And so we can, work with them collaboratively to meet some of those needs. And while the school does not always have all the resources that parents need, we can always point them to where the resources are. And so counselors and social workers are excellent persons in the process of directing students to the necessary supports that are available to them. And so what I find, based on my experience and with families and schools that I've worked with, the support and resources that are needed are categorized as follows: food services and food delivery, utilities and finances, immigration, undocumented and refugee support, family clinic support, emotional support, funeral support and resources, and mental health support. So, offering parents these support, the ones that school can provide, and then directing them to the sources where they can get other help as necessary. Now, I've just shared with you 3 ways to support our students when they return from break. Number 1, allow sufficient time and space for students to talk about their holiday experiences. Number 2, review classroom norms and expectations. And number 3, reassure students and their families that school is safe and share resources available with, through the school or the community level. Always remember too, as we are about to part, that when students return from holiday break, they must feel belong, engaged, and supported. And so when parents and school work together, we find that it provides a unique insight, and perspectives to improve the overall learning experience of students. So collaboration is always essential, and if students appear to be at risk at all when you see them and over the activities that you'll be doing, remember again, you're a mandated reporter and you know what to do. Take care of our kids. We love them. We want our society to be better, and our society can only be better when we provide to the kids what they need to make smart choices, to be great learners, to be great citizens. Have a wonderful week and a wonderful rest of the school year. Thank you. Bye.